Hello and welcome to the Demand Gen Summit. My name is Declan Mulkeen and I'm going to be talking to you today about account-based marketing, ABM, and some of the hardest parts of ABM and how to overcome them. Just a quick introduction here. I am the agency CMO at Strategic ABM, an account-based marketing agency. I'm also the host of Let's Talk ABM, which you may be familiar with, a podcast about account-based marketing and account-based everything. And finally, I'm very active on LinkedIn talking about account-based marketing. So there's a couple of examples here of some of the things I've been talking about recently. So if you're looking for help, looking for ideas, do please follow me on LinkedIn, and I'm sure you'll be educated and probably also entertained by some of the content I share. So let's just recap on why ABM, why account-based marketing. Here's some industry return on investment benchmarks just to set the scene in terms of the impact on deal size, the impact on win rates, the impact on number of opportunities created, and the impact on the number of sales opportunities created. So these are data sources from various sources such as Demandbase, Gartner, Terminus, and Serious Decisions. So it shows you that if you get ABM right, then the benefits and the return are significant, but it's not without its difficulties and it's not without its hurdles. So just to recap on when do ABM. This is a pyramid that we show a lot of our, clients, prospects when we're talking about ABM in terms of kind of framing the conversation about what ABM is and when you should start to consider it. And I think this pyramid model works quite well in terms of on the left-hand side, you can see the annual contract value going up all the way up to more than $500,000. And on the right-hand side, the number of accounts that would be enrolled in any given strategy. So at the base of the pyramid, you see demand generation, which is what we consider to be less than $35,000 average annual contract value. And this is for your TAM, your total addressable market, which comprises thousands of accounts, if not more. As you then start to see the annual contract value increase above 35,000, that is where we see the investment warranted for an ABM motion. And as you go up the pyramid from one to many to one to few to one, 35,000, 125,000, more than $500,000. You can see that the motion changes from one to many to one to few to one. And on the right-hand side, you can also see that we consider one to many to be for your tiered ICP, your ideal customer, one to few to be for your priority accounts, which tend to be less than 50, and one to be your most valuable accounts or your most engaged accounts, which is a special way that we actually at the agency look at this type of motion. So let's talk about the hardest parts of ABM, or at least some of them. This is not an exhaustive list. This is not all of them, but it's definitely some of the ones that get mentioned to us by many of our customers and many of the people that talk to us about helping them with their ABM programs. So just before I do that, Pele, you may be familiar with, a fantastic Brazilian football player, won the World Cup, won all the awards that were available to football players. And he said that obviously success is no accident. It's hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you're doing. And I think, with my podcast, Let's Talk ABM, I talk to so many great ABMers. And I think this probably summarizes ABM for them. It's hard work. You've got to stick at it. You are constantly learning. But above all, you are doing something which you dearly love, and that the outcome is such that it warrants all that hard work. So first, I want to talk about, in terms of the hardest parts of ABM, change of mindset. What does that mean? Well, ABM is very different to any other kind of B2B marketing approach, any other kind of marketing strategy. And it requires a new way of thinking, but not just for you as the person running the ABM program or your ABM team, but indeed the marketing organization, the sales organization, even the C-suite. It requires a way of thinking, a new way of addressing issues, a new way of thinking how you can come together, a new way of joining the dots between different teams. So it's something that a lot of people miss out on at the beginning, and it's definitely an evolution and it's an educational process. But thinking about that new mindset that you need is one of the first hurdles that you need to overcome in order to be a successful ABMer. Defining ABM definitions. Definitions are really important. If you can define what account-based marketing means for you, then you're going to have a better chance of making it a success internally and then externally. What do I mean by definitions? Some people obviously have a preconceived idea of what account-based marketing is, but you need to explain and define what it means for your organization, for your team, for your go-to-market organization. Define what it means, write it down on paper, get everyone to agree with that definition. And if you have a definition which is clear across the entire organization, then it will be a lot easier to look back at that definition, to show the results against that definition, and for everybody to be on the same page. Resilience. Be resilient. ABM we talk about it as a journey very often, and it's a journey that has, its ups and downs. It has its bumps in the road. There are roadblocks. There are things that you don't expect but actually happen, whether you're working with a customer engagement strategy or a new logo acquisition, etc. You need to be resilient. You need to be able to persevere under difficult circumstances. So be prepared for the journey and be prepared for what will be coming down that road. Set expectations. Number 4. What does that mean? It's linked a little bit to definitions at the beginning. If you are not able to explain to people what the journey looks like, they will have a misconception, so to speak, about what will happen and when it will happen. If you can explain to everybody what will happen and when, what will be coming and when, what do the results look like and when, then if you have those expectations clear at the beginning, then people will not be asking you awkward questions. They will not be asking you questions about, well, where are the leads, where's the revenue, where's the pipeline, etc. When you know you're in the opening stages of your ABM strategy, which is built around building that reputation and those relationships which are important to deliver that revenue. Sales alignment. This is considered to be one of the hardest parts of ABM and indeed one of the hardest parts of marketing, working with sales. Work really hard on this from the very beginning. And one of the things that we say to many of our customers and indeed to the market is you really have to work hard on this alignment at the beginning. You need to make sure that you have that relationship with the VP of sales, with all the sales leaders. You need to be able to have that kind of joint dashboard together, reporting structure together. The more that you can align at the beginning of your journey, the easier your ABM journey will be. Execution at scale. Now, this comes down the road. If you're just starting on your ABM journey and you're doing a pilot, you're doing a small scale experiment, you're doing a relatively smaller approach to account-based marketing, then this is something you don't necessarily need to worry about. But once you start to scale, once you start to enroll more accounts in the ABM program, once you start to get more teams in your organization involved in ABM, this is when execution at scale starts to become more of a challenge. And what does that mean? It means you have to get everybody from the VP of sales through to all the other sales leaders, through to other members of the marketing organization, from the CMO down. You've got a lot of execution and a lot of orchestration to worry about. So this can be a challenge, but this is normally a challenge once you're a lot maturer and a lot more experienced in your ABM journey. Knowing your accounts. Now, obviously, ABM, account-based marketing, is all about the accounts, all about your customers or your prospective customers, prospects that you want to become your customers. But how do you get to know them? Now, there is a saying in the market that unless you know your customers, you cannot do ABM. Now, what's behind that is that you really need to get under the skin of your customers, whether they are current customers or future customers. You need to be able to know what makes them tick. You need to be able to know what keeps them awake at night. You need to be able to know their challenges, their agenda, at a corporate level, organizational level, departmental level, and then at an individual level. So there's an awful lot of data, an awful lot of insights work that is done, and many companies skip this part or skip parts of this. So this can be one of the hardest parts. Finding time. Now, by time here, this means time, physical time, means resources, and it means the financial investment that you can put into your program. Now, there are ways around finding this time. One, obviously, is using an agency like ourselves or any other account-based marketing agents out there. Other ways is finding cross-functional teams that can help you. Other ways are by, as I mentioned earlier, starting small and proving your ABM program first, and then that will allow you to have more investment. But finding time is without doubt one of the hardest parts of ABM. It's resource heavy, it's resource intensive, and it's not without its difficulties. So be prepared to find yourself squeezed on many fronts. Be prepared to find yourself with a resource squeeze, and be prepared to think about what some of the options are for you to outsource part of what you do or to insource part of what you do. Dispelling misconceptions. There are a lot of misconceptions out there, not only in the market about what account-based marketing is, but also within your organization. So this is, I've seen many cases, for example, where previous account-based marketing strategies have failed or have not got off the ground properly, and therefore they have left a bitter taste in the mouth of sales or of other people in the organization or the C-suite, or somebody approached ABMing in a certain way before that didn't work. So very often when you're starting off an ABM program, you need to do a lot of education, a lot of road shows to show people what your interpretation of ABM is, what you believe ABM and good ABM looks like, and to dispel those misconceptions and those kind of myths about ABM to make sure that everyone's on the same page about what you think ABM is. Finally, number 10, led by technology and not strategy. This is a hard thing for many, many marketers. They've got a surplus of technology, marketing technology in general, but also ABM technology. And very often that has been imposed on them by the wider organization or by marketing operations. And they are expected to use that technology in an efficient manner, but they're then being led by that technology and how that technology works in order to deliver their ABM strategy. And that is, putting the cart before the horse. You really do need to think strategy first, get that right. You don't need technology at the beginning. You can do it based on pen and paper. Get that right, and then the technology will be informed by a good strategy. So just to summarize, really, that was just some of the hardest parts that we find when we're running ABM programs with our customers, when we're talking to the wider market, etc. What I'd advise you to do is a couple of things. One, follow me on LinkedIn, send me a connection request or DM me. You have any questions, please, I'd be delighted to answer them. And if you want to kind of keep up to date about all things account-based marketing, do follow Strategic ABM, the agency where I'm the CMO. We are constantly publishing insights about account-based marketing. And also, as I mentioned, we've got a couple of great podcasts, Let's Talk ABM, that I run, and another one run by a couple of my colleagues called ABM Under the Hood. So please do check those out. And any questions, just send me a message. And I hope this presentation has been helpful. Thank you very much.